Okay, so welcome to Really Dicey. Congratulations on overcoming the heat wave and making it to your computer. This is July 2022, and we're reporting to you from 9th level of hell. It's just ridiculously warm. But anyway, this is our Kickstarter review. So why don't you lead us off, James, and I'll try to put my brain back together.
Okay, it's okay. Just get out of the frying pan. You'll be all right. It's not as warm here, thankfully, but it's probably going to get toasty over the next few weeks. My first game, and maybe it'll help cool things off. It's called When the Wolf Comes, a Viking verse role-playing game. So kind of Nordic. So there's some snow imagery for you. Just let it wash over you.
Nice.
Yes. Now, apparently, it comes from an outfit called Outland Entertainment.
Okay.
And they've over the past few years been making like some graphic novels and comic books about this setting as well. I get the impression that they were building towards this game as part of it, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. It uses the Shadow of the Demon Lord system that was created by Robert Schwab a few years back for Kickstarter itself, I believe. And it looks really, really cool because it takes your standard kind of Nordic Viking mythology and applies that to an alternate timeline going forward. So it's like futuristic, going into space, but they've got a Viking mentality and the Norse mythology that backs them up. So it's really kind of cool, and it's kind of like I get the impression also that it's kind of like Ragnarok is approaching. So when the wolf comes, Fenris is coming in, and they're dealing with that element of. So it looks really, really cool. It looks like it's something that could be a lot of fun. And it's mostly just there's a core book that comes with your basic tiers, but they offer a lot of deep and involving world building content like the comics and stuff as part of their stretch goals and stuff, and stretch goals that will add to those as well, short stories and some more comics and stuff as part of the campaign. So if you're into comics and stuff like that, they have a free one that you can link to or download on their Kickstarter page. And the art is fantastic. It looks like a really great comic. So if you're into that, that's just kind of an added bonus to check this one out. So When the Wolf Comes, Viking verse, that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Wow. Vikings in space. That does sound good.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good. James, you I know we've talked. You've played some World of Darkness and stuff. Did you ever look at White Wolf's Trinity Continuum?
I've heard of it, but it was never on, because is it kind of like a quasi superhero-ish kind of setting, or
sort of?
Okay.
Yeah, it's Trinity Continuum was a trilogy of games. The first was Adventure, and that was kind of two-fisted pulp action where the characters, some of them had access to this sort of special power that had just come into the world. And then, so that was Adventure. And the second one was Aberrant, and that was full-blown superheroes. And then in the meta universe, I mean, in the meta fiction, after that game, there was this giant catastrophe that set humanity back. And after humanity recovered from that, there was the third game, which was originally Aeon, and then Trinity, and then Aeon again because of a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Now, Onyx Path Publishing, which has kind of picked up the mantle of the classic World of Darkness, and has continued to put out all these great mage and race and all that. They've also picked up the Continuum universe, the Trinity Continuum. So not only have they put out the 3 games that World of Darkness has, they have now put out a new game in the Continuum. So
really?
Yes. So they backed up and released a historical game called Trinity. Let me make sure I get this right. Yes, Trinity Continuum Aether. So this is a cyberpunk. I'm sorry, not cyberpunk, not at all. It's a steampunk. It's set in the Victorian age, with Tesla and everything. So they've discovered the Aether, which is this ability to warp the universe and everything. So I'm not exactly sure how it ties into the other games, but I'm guessing that it's an earlier version of the same force that's all the other 3 games.
Is it meant to be compatible with the other 3 games?
It's meant to be in the same timeline.
Okay.
So I mean, the games are separated by centuries, but if you can figure out a way to
definitely. Well, it's just my GM's mind going. So I wonder if we can do some weird time traveling thing. So that's cool.
One thing I should say is the Kickstarter page says that they have redesigned the system. So there weren't really any details, so I don't know what the new system looks like. But that sounds like a good idea, because as much as I loved the Trinity games and the World of Darkness games, they use the same storyteller system with little differences. And I'm not sure the storyteller system was really that well thought out. So
it needed streamlining, and like Onyx Path itself has done that with a lot of its old games that have been re-released and sort of tightened it up and made it faster and gotten rid of some of the rules bloat that gets in the way. So I think Onyx Path's history kind of speaks for itself in terms of those types of things. So I have no doubt it's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
I'm excited about this. I played a little bit of the Trinity Continuum, and they were good games. They were well put together. The universe was really well thought out. It was completely distinct from the World of Darkness, but it had that same level of detail paid to the setting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, like some of the other games, there are different levels of characters you can play. Characters who have, an inkling of this power, and characters who have more access to the Aether, and characters who have lots of character. So it allows you to tell different types of stories, like ground level to middling, and then like earth shattering.
Nice.
And they also tried to work in a lot of Victorian fiction motifs. So at least in some of the art, it looks like you've got a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde sort of thing.
Sweet.
And they talk about how humanity messing around with the Aether has drawn the attention of the aliens. I mean, the Martians. So you get the invasion. You get H.G. Wells and big,
War of the Worlds. Yeah.
Big tripod war machines walking around. So it looks pretty cool. And Onyx Path Publishing has put out some great stuff, and they have remained faithful to the original when they picked these games up. So if you fondly remember White Wolf and in the Continuum, the Trinity Continuum, definitely worth checking this out.
Oh, definitely.
Even if you like just wild steampunk, occult, weird science sort of games. Yeah, definitely.
See, that's what's got me right off the back. I love that the steampunk Victorian aesthetic. Just sounds, that's interesting. That's cool. So, I might have to check that one. I know that was on my short list, but I let it go because I was like, I don't know enough about its history, so I'm just gonna I'll focus on a few other things. So, but I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, let's get
my next one is a bit of a more gaming tack than a game. The Game Master screen by Wyrmwood. Now, apparently, a few years back, they did a first version of a Game Master screen, and it's like made of wood, and it's sturdy materials, artisan, very, very cool, very neat. and they're doing a new version now, which isn't compatible with the old one, so you can't like disassemble and put them all together or something like that. But I mean, you put your money down, it puts you in line essentially for when they start making them and sending them out.
Okay.
And then you have to go onto their website and construct your gaming screen. It comes with options like a tablet tray that can be on one of the wings, and plexi panels that you can pull back and put sheets behind up there, and little magnetic pins, and a metal board to put things on. A very cool initiative tracker that you can put along the top. These little, dry erase marker names on these little tabs. Put them in the right order. This is who goes when. It's a very, very cool product. It's definitely a premium product. It's not going to be a super cheap thing, and it's not meant to be a complaint. I mean, when you get something like this, you expect to pay a little bit more money. It's made of wood and all sorts of different types of wood with proper staining and stuff like that. So, I think to me, it seems like it would make a if you wanted to put that as a GM, this is your thing. It's the kind of thing that you're going to use for years to come. And also, if you're a player and you're a bunch of players, you want to get a gift for your GM, which to any of my players, great, I love it. Get together and it becomes a little more affordable for them. There's another part of it that I particularly remember. They had a two-sided dice tower. So you put it in, there's, I think, split at the top, you put dice in the top, and it comes out on the GM side, or the players could put it on their side, and it comes out on the player side. So it's a very cool little addition to put in there. So and it's literally this little tower that goes into one of the segments, because I think they attach together on the table with magnets, so they kind of like loop off together, and you put one of the dice tower between two of them, and they just boop off together with the magnets. So, a very cool product. Definitely, if you're willing to spend the money for it, it looks like the kind of thing that, again, like I said, if you're hardcore and you're going to be playing for a long time and you want a fully featured and lovely looking GM screen, this is something definitely to look at. So.
Nice. Sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great. Well, okay. Speaking of game accessories, my next item is a much cheaper game accessory. It's called Unleashed Arcana RPG dice and DCC sets. Unleashed Arcana. So it's a set of 8 dice. 8 sets of dice, I should say. They're nice solid colors, orange and blue, and we'll put a picture up so you can look at them. They are legible, which is great, as I've always said.
It's always useful, yeah.
I've reached a point where dice have to be legible. It doesn't matter how cool they are. If I can't read them, then I'm not going to...
This makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, right. It does make sense, but you'll be surprised how many people put out dice that you can't read.
I have no doubt.
Yes. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing this one up is these dice sets are available as 7 dice sets, standard for D&D, D10s or D20. I mean, D4 to D... I can't talk today. My brain's melted.
That's okay.
Or up to 20. But they're also available as Dungeon Crawl Classic sets, which include all the strange dice like the D3s and the D16s and the D32s. And the official DCC sets are put out in these nice tubes, and each set is color-coded to an NPC character that's included in and it's a little booklet that's put into the tube, and the booklet has a little bit about the character and a little bit of story, and usually it has like a spell maybe or a magic item or something. This is just DCC packing things in wherever they can. They are amazing. They never send you out a piece of paper when they can send you out a parchment that looks like it came out of the dungeon. I ordered a bunch of books from them, and it came in this treasure box.
So, yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is more of the same from Dungeon Crawl Classics. So if you love dice and you play Dungeon Crawl Classics, this is the chance to get some more.
Oh, I've got one set of I think that the Xochi dice or the strange dice.
That's right.
Myself, and I've got one of the ones that has like a creature in it as its added bit, and they're like DCC. I mean, as soon as you said they were DCC dice, I was like, always. I don't need more DCC dice, but I want DCC dice.
There you go. Well, this is this is the Kickstarter for you then.
Well, we'll have to check that out. Okay, my next Kickstarter, like last month, I had the bunnies and basements or whatnot, the kids one, and I've got another one that kind of in the similar vein that's made with the Savage Worlds system called Dustbunnies. Dustbunnies, Life Under the Couch. And it's I get a very strong kind of Fraggle Rock kind of vibe from it. So imagine these weird dust bunny creatures that live under the couch, and they're just up to mischief. Yeah. Everybody loves Fraggle Rock. And like these creatures are under the couch and that sort of thing, and like they like to create mischief and make what the game system calls trixes. It tries to not. It's not focusing on combat. It's more about them doing their things. So it's more about skill based and kind of making these trixes to advance the story and such. Again, it's got a very very cool art style, kind of like almost like from a newspaper comic strip, if they still have those, kind of look. Oh, I feel old. But again, it's more conceptually. It just sounds like a lot of fun. And I've been trying to find an excuse to get into Savage Worlds because I've never tried it. I saw some people run it at a convention once, and they were getting up and they were having so much fun. Just was like, I've got to check the system out at some point. So this might be a really good excuse to do it. And it's relatively affordable. It's kind of easy to get into. It comes with a core book, and then higher tiers has an adventure book, and there's another level of tiers that has like a coloring book and stuff like that with it. So it definitely leans into the kid element, but as an adult, it still sounds like a hoot to look into. So
that does sound great.
Yeah, but I do love to try and find games that are fun for kids as well, because I mean it's the future of our hobby. I mean, let's find them games they're going to get into and help them evolve eventually into more other games. I don't want to say more interesting because this sounds super interesting to me. Okay, I've got two more actually myself here.
Let's hear.
Well, this is the first one I'll do. It's called The Fallen Few. And it's essentially a role-playing game where you role-play as a biker gang / biker club. So if you like Sons of Anarchy, it's a role-playing game that is Sons of Anarchy. So if that already twigs you, I don't have to sell you anymore. But it's using a D20 system. Now, I don't know whether he means that it's old like 3.0, 3.5 D20, or whether that's just a funny way of still saying 5.E. But even though they're both pretty similar, so the mechanics are already pretty understandable to most people. And it's like he's putting in options of you can make your guys outlaws and villains and stuff, or you can create them as kind of like vigilantes trying to do right in a world of crime and whatnot. So yeah, again, it's just like it's the kind of thing where you take one look and either the concept is going to sell you or not, and I kind of love the concept. that is exciting to me. And higher tiers, he's also got a full campaign called Diamonds and Guns that can be part of it as well. So it sounds like I think it's just one guy who's been working on this. So
wow.
Well, it's impressive what single creators are doing. Like Sheer last month is the same thing. One person did the work on it. So, and if I'm wrong and there are other people working on it as well, I apologize. But it definitely looks like a lot of fun. The Fallen Few. So I think that's the kind of thing that I would, because I like playing a non-standard kind of setting myself, because I get a little burned out on fantasy and stuff, so I like trying something new. And this is like, everybody can relate to the idea of your Hell's Angels or your Sons of Anarchy. So it seemed to me it would be kind of easy just to jump into and play and have fun with. So that one sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Cool.
And my last one is called Nexus Modern Sorcery. It's kind of a modern setting with sorcerers for powered by the Apocalypse system.
Okay.
It's made by actually a friend of mine in Australia, Blake Ryan, and he's big on the powered by Apocalypse games and stuff like that. It just sounds kind of cool, like modern day sorcerers. So like obviously you sort of I don't know how directly inspired by like Mage, but given that Mage was modern day sorcerers kind of thing as well, but using the powered by the Apocalypse system, and just kind of there's a notion of portals to other worlds and other settings that become involved in the adventure, and Nexus is like this company that these sorcerers work for. And in the core book come 3 other worlds that you can delve into, and instructions on how to create your own worlds to visit or use for things like that. And there's a secondary companion book that has a whole bunch of additional content, added playbooks. The playbooks are essentially the character classes for Powered by the Apocalypse. So there's some more playbooks and cities and I believe another world, and then there'll also be the playbook sheets and stuff from the core game stuff as part of the whole package as you go through it. And stretch goals include a series of essentially adventure seeds that he wants to create for people to be able to use, and a fully fleshed out full multi-scenario campaign that will be part of it as well. So, and apparently he's got all this stuff ready to go, and it's going to be one of those Kickstarters that as soon as it's done, it's going to hit the ground running, print it out, and people will get their stuff within a few months kind of thing. That's how I read it. So hopefully that works out for him. It looks like a lot of fun. It's something I'm backing myself. So very cool. And I wish him all the luck on that one.
Great. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, well, there you have it. Some games for you to throw your money at before you die of heat stroke. So
buy some ice first.
Yeah. All right, so thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Later.